On the 8th of October 1946, inside the walls of Hamelin Prison, a brutal and barbaric SS doctor who worked inside of Auschwitz and other concentration camps was taken to his execution. His executioner, the skilled and experienced Albert Pierpoint, was the man who was there to bring the life of Bruno Kitt to an end, and Kitt was known for being responsible for the deaths of thousands of people. Inside of Auschwitz, Bruno Kitt chose many people to be sent to their deaths within the gas chambers, and he was someone who even at one point complained about his work. But regardless of his hesitations to send sick people to their deaths, Bruno Kitt was sent crashing through the gallows inside of the British-occupied prison. Welcome to The Untold Past. Today we look at the execution of the ruthless doctor of Auschwitz, and as always, to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. Bruno Kitt was born on the 9th of August 1906, and he was the son of a teacher. There was little in his early life that would suggest that he would one day become someone who was responsible for the deaths and slaughter of thousands of people. Kitt went to university to study medicine, after briefly studying natural sciences, but like so many people in the 1930s, he signed up to become a member of the Nazi Party, following the meteoric rise of Adolf Hitler. The membership numbers of the Nazis rose into the millions, and Hitler promised to give people better employment opportunity and to also restore German pride following the loss of the First World War. Many people flocked in their thousands to see Hitler speak, and many of his inner circle also held large rallies for the Nazi Party. But Bruno Kitt went further, and he joined the SS. The SS to begin with started out as a small private bodyguard detachment for Adolf Hitler, and Heinrich Himmler, following his appointment as the Reichsführer SS and the head of the SS, would transform this to become a force of hundreds of thousands of men who became the ardent guards of the concentration camps and some of the most virulent and skilled and feared soldiers of the Second World War. Bruno Kitt was SS member 246,756, and he worked inside of the Ruhr Miners Association, but he then became a senior medical examiner and doctor there. Like so many people inside of the SS, Bruno Kitt was drafted to serve inside the Waffen-SS, the military wing of Himmler's force, in March 1942, and he was ready to go and serve on the front lines. But he then quickly was shifted over to go and work inside the concentration camps, and he was then sent across to Sachsenhausen concentration camp to receive a period of training. Many male guards were sent there to start their journey to become brutal and ruthless guards of the camps, and in 1942, a large number of guards found themselves moved across to Auschwitz. Auschwitz became the largest concentration camp of the Third Reich. It also became the deadliest, as over 1.1 million people died inside the barbed wire fences. Rudolf Höss, when he expanded the site, wanted to create the deadliest place of slaughter, and his goal was to exterminate and execute as many people as possible in as quick time as possible. Rudolf Höss needed many other guards to staff the large number of prisoners who were being sent to Auschwitz in the mass deportations from all over Europe. Bruno Kitt served from June 1942 as a camp doctor inside of Auschwitz, but instead of giving out treatment inside of the camp, he would be taking the lives of prisoners. Doctors within Auschwitz were responsible for slaughter, death and executions, with many prisoners being executed by doctors and nurses themselves administering lethal injections. One of the responsibilities for Bruno Kitt, as a doctor inside of the deadliest camp, was to get involved in the selections. When prisoners were sent to Auschwitz, they disembarked the trains in the rail yards. Many victims died en route to the camp, such was the hardship of their journey, but those who were not fit enough to conduct hard labour were sent to a different side, to those who would be admitted into Auschwitz to work and then live. Those who were not fit enough, including the elderly, and many mothers with their children, were driven towards the gas chambers by many SS guards who forced them to head towards their deaths within just hours of arriving at the camp. Bruno Kitt was one of those doctors who would parade the rail yards, and he chose prisoners to be sent to their deaths in the selections, and he specifically sent thousands of sick and weak female prisoners to the gas chambers. He was serving at the time as the chief physician of the women's infirmary, and each day he would be patrolling the yards sending women to their deaths, many with their children still in their arms. Kitt also served as a camp doctor inside of Monowitz, Auschwitz III, the IG Farben factories inside of the complex, but he did contract typhus at some point from the prisoners, and this specific disease killed many at the camp. The reputation that Bruno Kitt had amongst the inmates was very different to some other doctors inside of Auschwitz, including Josef Mengele, who was known as the Angel of Death. One former prisoner of the camp claimed that Kitt was a very clever and intelligent man, and they also said that he was sometimes approachable, and that he would administer help if it was needed. He was said to have been not the most fanatical of Nazis or guards, and it was also claimed that he asked his boss to leave his position as a doctor in Auschwitz, as he could not continue to live with his role inside of the selections. But this did not really go anywhere, and Kitt was asked to continue to send women prisoners to their deaths, and he was not allowed to avoid taking part in the selections. For his destructive work, Kitt was even awarded the second-class War Merit's Cross with swords, and he was promoted to the rank of SS Hauptsturmführer. Inside of Auschwitz, he did even find a wife, who was a laboratory assistant in the camp, and they also had a son. But as the war turned against the Germans at the end of 1944, the threat of Auschwitz being taken by the Soviets was very real, and Heinrich Himmler ordered for not a single prisoner to fall into the hands of the enemy, and Auschwitz in January 1945 was being evacuated with the Red Army on the horizon. Kitt was moved to go and work inside of Neuengamme concentration camp as a troop doctor, and in this work inside the camp, he was responsible for the treatment of SS guards inside of the camp who were working, and he would give out medical care to them, and he was also involved in assessing the inmates if they were fit enough to work, and if they were not, then they would be executed or killed. As the Allies approached Neuengamme, Bruno Kitt went with the prisoner ambulance transports to Sandbostel camp, and he then went towards Malmö in Sweden before crossing the border back into northern Germany. He was very much on the run, and he knew that one day possibly his crimes would catch up with him. He was eventually arrested by the British and was then brought to what was known as the Neuengamme trials, and Bruno Kitt was a defendant alongside a number of other guards. At his trial, a number of witnesses told of the cruelty of the camp, and Kitt's other work inside of Auschwitz was spoken about, and for his actions within the concentration camp system, Bruno Kitt was found guilty of participating in the murder and mistreatment of prisoners inside of Neuengamme, and for this he was sentenced to death. He would not have to wait too long for his execution, as on the 8th of October 1946, his execution inside of Hamelin Prison would occur. In the days before, he met with Albert Pierpoint, the skilled British executioner, who calculated Kitt's weight and height, and then the subsequent drop needed to snap his neck instantly and kill him. He was summoned on the day of his execution from a prison cell on death row, and Pierpoint then led him across with his assistant to the execution chamber, where a number of gallows had been made to allow swifter executions. Bruno Kitt was led up the steps of the gallows, and his identity was confirmed. Pierpoint then placed a white cap over Kitt's head, and then the noose which was secured to the gallows. He then shuffled the former SS doctor across to a chalk X on the floor, which was above the trapdoor, and Kitt was then sent crashing through the gallows, and his neck was instantly snapped. Bruno Kitt was an SS doctor who complained about his role inside the concentration camps, and complained about sending thousands of people to their deaths inside the gas chambers. He wanted to end his part in this, but before this he had sent many people to their exterminations. Inside of Auschwitz, there were many other doctors who worked at the site, and Kitt was a colleague of those people such as Josef Mengele, who conducted sadistic experiments. He was an experienced SS man, and for his actions at the end of the Second World War, he was sent to the gallows, with an experienced British executioner taking his life. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.